Experience CBS News. The people of CBS News. Dan Rather,
Connie Chung,
Ed Bradley,
Mike Wallace,
Leslie Stahl,
Morley Safer,
Steve Croft,
Andy Rooney.
and Charles Kuralt.
Experience.
CBS News.
This is CBS.
First, we gave you the attractive Jeep Cherokee Sport, but you said,
More. Give me more.
so we added a 190 horsepower engine, but you still said,
More. Give me more.
so we added air conditioning,
More.
power steering,
More.
and AM/FM stereo, all for a great price.
Less. Make it less.
Okay?
Okay.
So hurry to your Jeep and Eagle dealer, look at a Jeep Cherokee Sport and say, sold!
Good evening, I'm Cindy Hilger.
And I'm Scott Reynolds in for Don Shelby. Coming up next on the 6 o'clock news, the Minnesota River floods its banks from Mankato to the Twin Cities, leaving farmlands and roads completely underwater.
And a fuel oil tank explodes at an Egan manufacturing plant, critically injuring a 37-year-old man. The 6 o'clock news is up next.
You're watching today's WCCO television. This is the 6 o'clock news on Channel 4.
It's the first day of summer. A warm sun is shining over Minnesota, but all is not well.
Heavy rains from last week are causing the Minnesota River to overflow its banks in several cities. The Minnesota River at Mankato is expected to crest about now at nearly 14 feet above flood stage. Further north, the river continues swelling as well. This is what St. Peter looked like earlier today. Highway 22 was closed, as was the bridge now submerged in water. The Highway 99 bridge was also closed for dike reinforcement on the east side of the river, and homeowners were trying to pump water out of their basements. For others, it was just too late. Time to salvage what they could and move belongings upstairs or maybe out. All that water is expected to arrive in the metro area later this week, and Pat Kessler joins us now from St. Paul's Harriet Island Field, where they're preparing for the worst. Pat?
Scott, they're doing an awful lot to prepare. The river is rising here more than a foot every day. Now behind you, some of you may recognize the Robert Street Bridge in downtown St. Paul. Down below where we are will be completely covered with water, probably by week's end. To give you an idea of how high the water is going to be, back in 1965, the water came to the top blue line there. In 1969, to this line. The people who know about these things are saying this weekend the water will rise to right about here. The water already covers most of the docks. Soon it will cover this wall and everything beyond it. As the river rose today, workers hurried to add higher pilings for tugboats to dock. Some tugs, like the Clyde Butcher, are preparing to leave quickly while they can still clear the bridges.
And how bad is this compared to what you've seen before?
This is the worst that I've seen it since I've been working for the company.
Temporary dikes and sandbags are planned for downtown. A train will be parked on this railroad bridge, hoping the weight will keep the bridge from getting swept away. And at the airport, fuel tanks were filled and sealed for the same reason. Emergency officials are asking gawkers to stay away.
But we're cautioning everybody to stay back. If there is a vantage point to get any pictures or anything, stay on the high ground. Don't come near the water. The water will be extremely treacherous, carrying a lot of debris in it. It'll be extremely dangerous.
Along the river, pleasure boats are moving out. The No Wake Cafe is preparing to close due to high waters. And the people who live here are leaving, but taking it in stride. Jeannie, have you ever seen anything like this?
Not since the Great Flood of '65.
That's what we're hearing.
Now we're going to talk about the Great Flood of '93.
Now, the Great Flood of '93 is going to affect the big Barney the Dinosaur show in downtown St. Paul, also the Lollapalooza Rock Festival. Behind me is the area where Harriet Island will be covered by water by this weekend. So if you're going to one of those places, listen up, pay attention for the next couple of days. The promoters are going to decide where to move it or whether to have it at all. Scott?
All right, thanks for that update. Pat Kessler reporting from St. Paul. Cindy?
Well, already the Minnesota River has caused several roads in the metropolitan area to close. The Bloomington Ferry Bridge closed last week, Highway 169 in Shakopee last night, and this afternoon roadblocks went up on Highway 41 in Chaska. That forced many motorists to use Interstate 35W this morning. These people were probably late for work, that is, if they didn't leave extra time. Mike Walter joins us live now from I-35W in Burnsville tonight. Mike, is it still slow going or is rush hour past?
No, it's awful out here. It's a rush hour nightmare, Cindy. I'll step aside. As you can see, bumper-to-bumper stop-and-go traffic both directions on 35W, and it's been this way for the last 90 minutes to 2 hours that we've been out taping in this general location. We came south on 35W at about 2:30 this afternoon, and even at that relatively early hour, it was bumper-to-bumper stop-and-go for miles southbound on 35W. Now, the cause of all this extra traffic is the fact that the flooding has closed off some of the river crossings, such as Highway 169, where the rushing waters are creating kind of a mini rapids at the other side of the roadway. The water here is going up at a rate of about 1 inch an hour, they tell us. The DOT says it will go up another 5 to 8 feet by the end of this week. Some kids were riding their bikes across the water at one point, but the police stepped in and put a stop to that. Well, Valley Fair does remain open. It's one of the big attractions down in the Shakopee area. It is open even though a corner of the parking lot has been flooded by the river. No sandbagging is underway now at Valley Fair, and they tell us none is planned. The park will remain open. They're taking it on a day-by-day basis, but right now everything is fine there at Valley Fair. The NSP's plant at Black Dog, it's still functioning. If it has to shut down, they don't think it will, but should it, NSP says it has enough fuel supplies to take care of the needs in the metropolitan area. All in all, everyone being inconvenienced, but most of all, the man and woman behind the wheel facing a real mess on 35W this entire week. Cindy?
What about the Cedar Avenue Bridge? Is that okay?
It's also extra heavy. That's a good alternate to take. You have to detour over a bit, but many people are taking the Cedar Avenue Bridge as an alternate, or even going all the way out to Highway 25 in Belle Plaine. That's a far western alternative.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Well, the worst may be yet to come here in the Twin Cities. It probably won't be as bad as what happened in Black River Falls, Wisconsin yesterday.
A dam spillway collapsed and flooded the town. Water was up to the roof on some homes. The governor declared a state of emergency. Black River Falls is in the southwestern part of Wisconsin, and Jonathan Elias is there again today. Jonathan, what's the latest there now?
Now, Scott, it's amazing. Yesterday we're telling you about a neighborhood that is almost completely underwater, and now I'm standing here telling you that the waters receded to the point where some folks were able to return home this morning and this afternoon. But a lot of those folks going home aren't happy with what they're finding.
The reason for this is for the security of everybody's homes down there. We got to make sure we don't have the wrong people down there, okay?
First, they had to get permission. Then they could go home. And some found themselves very lucky.
We were pretty nervous.
We grabbed our wedding pictures and our family pictures and our expensive guns and 2 days worth of clothes and went up to my dad's.
Just their basement was flooded, but others weren't so lucky. Moni and Kathy Schlegel, who just finished spending $30,000 to remodel, sat staring at their home, still underwater.
I said, I wish you wouldn't have come and looked. I just wanted to cry. I said, I wish I would have never looked at it.
There's proof of it. And I'm 5'6", so...
That's how high the water is?
Yeah, see here? Right there.
The water has gone way down. From the air, you can see how only some are able to return to their homes. Yesterday, this is how the Hiltz home looked.
We just didn't have time to move the stuff.
This is how it looked today. There's mud everywhere, and the 8-foot basement is still completely filled.
We've worked so hard. Now we just got to do it all over again. I mean, it's just devastating.
No homeowner we spoke to in this area is insured for flooding because it's a floodplain. A few blocks away, the story is a lot different. National Guardsmen who were lining the downtown with sandbags are now hauling them away. And store owners are gladly sweeping away proof that they were ever there. Now, the governor toured the flood area this afternoon. He had a press conference late this afternoon. He said he has his inspectors out tallying up the damage. As soon as he comes up with a total, he will then think about whether or not to get federal disaster relief. And they're not out of the woods here in Black River yet. The DNR has imposed that everybody boil their water for 10 minutes before they can drink it, just in case there's contamination. That's the very latest. We'll toss it back to you, Scott.
Jonathan, it seems the business district was pretty much spared in Black River Falls. Is that right?
Yeah, it was sort of. I mean, yesterday the water was up pretty well. Basements were filled up. They're still pumping it out a little bit. But it's amazing. You look at the downtown now. It just has been reopened this afternoon as if nothing ever happened down there.
All right. Good to see. Thanks very much, Jonathan Elias from Wisconsin.
Well, meteorologist Rebecca Coles is in our storm center keeping an eye on what's to come in the next few days. Is it going to be as bad?
Well, no, it won't be. We are under a drier, warmer pattern, but I want to show you the difference in last week and what's going to happen this week and how this week's weather will actually be better for us. Last week, what we had, a low-pressure system parked itself over South Dakota near Nebraska. Attached to that was a stationary front. This is a very slow-moving type of storm. This is very common around severe weather. Moisture helped fuel the thunderstorms that we had around the area, and on top of that, we had a jet stream which ran parallel to all this, so the storms had no place to go, so they stalled over southern Minnesota. That's the reason the rain came down in buckets. Now, here's what's going to happen this week. We have another system headed this way, but this one is coming to us from the northwest, and it is running perpendicular to the jet stream. So the jet stream is actually going to help move these storm systems along the jet stream and along the state of Minnesota. So hopefully none of these should stall and provide us with the heavy rains that we've seen along southern Minnesota. I'll be back in just a few minutes to give you the complete weather details and the forecast.
Okay, thanks. Still to come this half hour, the rest of the day's news.
Including what jurors heard on the first day of the Shannon Bowles trial.
And then the story of a deer who fell 2 stories in downtown Minneapolis. We'll be right back.
You're watching the 6 o'clock news on Channel 4.
You want the safety and security of a Jeep Grand Cherokee, but you need a family sports sedan. So why not look into the Eagle Vision at the same Jeep and Eagle dealer? Vision offers your family the security of standard driver's and passenger side airbags, available anti-lock brakes, and standard V6 engine. And while that makes for a number of valuable reasons to buy Eagle Vision, we'd like to offer one more. So hurry, test drive an Eagle Vision at your Jeep and Eagle dealer now.
Weather updates around the clock on WCCO Radio. The most frequent and accurate forecasts from 3 full-time meteorologists. News, weather, friendly conversation. WCCO News Talk 830. The best news at the top and bottom of every hour. In-depth local, national, and international coverage from the Twin Cities' leading radio news team. First, fast, and factual. News, weather, friendly conversation. WCCO News Talk 830.
At Viennese Sommerfest, you'll hear the Minnesota Orchestra and the mastery of Beethoven, Tchaikovsky, and other musical greats, all in Orchestra Hall. So, to properly honor this concert extravaganza, we're asking that all our patrons remember to dress appropriately. WCCO welcomes Viennese Sommerfest, 30 classical concerts in a very casual atmosphere with food and fun on the Marktplatz. Call 371-5656 for tickets.
Futons. Sit down, stretch out, and save on futons at the Futon Shop.
Gotta make a stop at the Futon Shop.
Futons. You gotta sit on them and sleep on them. Wanna save on them?
Gotta make a stop at the Futon Shop.
Gotta save on the most attractive futons at the Futon Shop.
Gotta make a stop at the Futon Shop.
Find one of the area's largest selections of quality and affordable futons, like our lounger, just $198 complete full size. Sit on them, sleep on them, save on them.
At the Futon Shop.
In all water bedroom stores.
The Investment Connection.
Hi, can I help you? Yes, I have a few questions about retirement planning.
One call could be the best investment you ever make.
A fuel oil tank exploded in Egan this morning, leaving 1 man in critical condition. It happened at Wenzel Heating and Air Conditioning at 3600 Kennebec Drive. 37-year-old William Wolf was apparently cutting a hole in the 265-gallon tank when it exploded. No one was injured in the fire that followed.
Jurors in the Shannon Bowles trial heard an actual 911 tape the night Minneapolis police officer Jerry Hoff was killed.
Pizza Shack, 1623 East Lake. We got a cop that was just shot here.
Where on the body?
We need an ambulance quick. I don't know where he's been shot. All I know is he's down.
Hoff was gunned down early September 25th. 21-year-old Shannon Bowles is the accused gunman in that shooting. He is being charged with 2 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. 8 people testified in today's first day of testimony, but none of them could identify Bowles as the gunman. Accused murderer Zachary Persitz told the jury today how he shot his stockbroker, Michael Prozominchikov, and dismembered his body with a hatchet. Then Persitz agreed with the prosecutor's question that, in a way, he, the defendant, was the real victim. Persitz said he only meant to scare his broker into signing a statement that he owed him $200,000. The jury must now decide the degree of guilt and whether Persitz was insane.
Well, you don't often see wildlife in downtown Minneapolis, but this morning an injured deer was found near 10th and Marquette. Reportedly, the deer jumped from the 2nd floor of a parking ramp and injured his back legs. Animal control said the deer would have to be put to sleep.
The Red Cross is helping out the 64 people who lost their homes and belongings in an apartment fire in Eden Prairie over the weekend. 32 of those are children. Most of them lost everything in the fire, which did about $500,000 of damage. The Red Cross is looking for $25,000 in emergency financial help. And if you can donate, please write to the Red Cross at 11 Dell Place, Minneapolis, Minnesota 55403.
Well, today is the first day of summer, and surprisingly, it feels like summer outside. Rebecca Coles has the hot details when we come back.
The savings really add up at the National Plymouth Voyager sale. Start with $500 back on any Plymouth Voyager. Save up to $1,000 with the family value package. Then add more features like child seats, sunscreen glass, and more. You could total up to $2,600 in savings. The National Plymouth Voyager sale, where more of your favorite options add up to more savings. Hurry in. The biggest rebates will go first. The National Plymouth Voyager sale, only at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
I remember when he was working on this piece, he was searching for something. Ah, this is one of his earlier works. It's bold, it's simple, it's
some guy's jacket.
When your stomach takes a wrong turn, there's no faster or better relief than extra strength Maalox. That's why Maalox moments
Any opinions on the broom closet?
only last a moment.
Standing the test of time and proud of what we do.
We've made lots of great offers over the years, but the ones we're making this summer beat them all. Get breakthrough pricing on new Luminas, now with cash back up to $1,000, or choose low 5.9 financing. And Lumina comes equipped with everything you'd expect, plus much more. See your Heartland Chevy Geo dealers now, coming through for you.
Chevrolet and Geo coming through.
Coming up on the 6 o'clock news, Rebecca Coles. And the weather. Sponsored by your Greater Twin Cities Nissan dealers. Nissan, it's time to expect more from a car.
Presenting the Nissan Sentra XE Limited Edition. With air conditioning, cruise control, a 4-speaker AM/FM cassette stereo, a driver's side airbag, and a price tag $2,000 less than a Toyota Corolla DX. $2,000 less. How can they offer so much for so little? That's why it's a limited edition. And now lease the Sentra XE Limited Edition for just $159 a month.
Well,
you could be actually on level 5 rapids, you know, if you were going down the Minnesota River today. I mean, it'd be a temporary business, setting up that kind of kayaking. But
Well, I'll tell you, yeah, it's been just so far very busy this spring and summer being today, with all the weather that we've had. And it looks like, though, the pattern is a little drier and warmer, so hopefully that will help enhance some evaporation around there. Skyview 4 shows beautiful sunny skies out there, not a cloud to be found around the Twin Cities area. Our current temperature right now is 83 degrees. Our dew point is right there in the 50-degree range, or 62. Humidity 49%. Barometric pressure is falling at 29.99. High for today so far has been 84 degrees. That's much above the average, which it's about time. Overnight low was 50 degrees, which was rather cool. So far, no precip in the last 24 hours, but take a look at the difference between the year-to-date and the average. We finally exceeded that, but boy, for a lot of people, it has not been good news because it came down too quickly and all at once. As we take a look at the satellite picture, this is what's helping dry the situation. High pressure over us, keeping the clouds and storminess away from us, but it does appear that things will change just a bit as we go into the mid part of the week, but the high pressure is going to continue ruling the weather, keeping those temperatures in the 80 and 90 degree range for the next couple of days. And then what we're watching on the horizon is a low pressure system which is situated over the Pacific Northwest. This one will be advancing the state of Minnesota, and it's going to be bringing the threat for some thunder showers, but these should be moving through a little quicker and shouldn't stall like they did in the last one. So we'll watch that very carefully. It looks like this one should be advancing sometime as we go into Wednesday. The forecast then looks like temperatures will stay rather nice for tomorrow in the 80s. Tonight we're dropping down to 62 degrees. It will be clear. It will be mild out there. A little bit of fog because of all the moisture that we've seen. Tomorrow we're looking at another beautiful day. High should be about 86. And because of all the warm weather, there's a chance we may see a little bit of afternoon activity, or tomorrow night a little thunder shower here and there. Tuesday night, variable clouds in the forecast, a little breezy. That's going to help dry things out a bit. 65 should be the overnight low. And then as we go into Wednesday, partly sunny skies, very humid out there. There is going to be a chance for some thunderstorms, mostly in the afternoon hours. High should be about 87. And then we'll keep the threat for showers in the forecast for Thursday. And by Friday and Saturday, actually it cools down just a tad, but it looks really nice for now.
And hopefully those rains won't hit midweek.
Well, they will hit. We just don't want them to stall.
Okay.
Yeah, they will hit. In fact, it looks like Tuesday night and Wednesday they're going to start turning up this way. So.
Okay,
Thanks, Rebecca.
Thanks.
You bet.
Well, recapping the top stories on the networks this evening, CBS News had an exclusive interview with the man who claims to be President Clinton's half-brother. Henry Ritzenholler says he and the president have the same father. NBC also reported on the man's claims. It says President Clinton has attempted to contact him. And ABC began with the Supreme Court's ruling allowing the U.S. to intercept boats of Haitian refugees. Justices say they hope the ruling will dissuade Haitians from making the dangerous overseas trip.
And now here's how local companies performed today on Wall Street. The top gainers, 3M, First Bank, and Best Buy. The top losers, Cray Research, NSP, and the St. Paul companies. And our City Business Index of the fastest growing 40 Minnesota companies was down 0.62%. We'll be back in a moment.
Today's stock information was supplied by Dane Bosworth, who also bring you the Investment Connection.
The Minnesota State Lottery has a game for you. So play your favorite or try a new one. There are still millions in prizes you could win. So keep on playing.
One more time.
We know how to help you save on Dodge Caravan during the National Minivan Sale. Let's say you want both elegance and value. Then check out this Grand Caravan LE. You can get up to $2,600 in total savings, including sale prices on luxury options like leather trimmed seats, CD player, ABS brakes, and more. Only at the Minivan Store. See your nearest Dodge dealer. We know how to help.
There's no place like home for quality oak and leather, and there's no place like home for the newest styles in quality leather sofas, sectionals, and recliners. Like 100% top grain sofas from just $6.99. These beautiful leather sofas just $12.99. Save on our most popular sectionals and Leathermate recliners starting at just $3.99. For quality leather furniture at affordable prices, there's just no place like home. In Bloomington, Roseville, and our new Crystal location.
Got a few things to carry around? With a powerful V6 engine and plenty of payload, a new GMC Sierra could really help.
Morning, Fred. Morning, Frank.
Tony. What's the new buzzword around town? Sonoma, that's what. And with $750 cash back, it couldn't be a sweeter deal.
A predictable but nevertheless a sad state of affairs in Chicago in the aftermath. 2 people died and more than 600 were arrested during celebrations, they call it, of the Bulls' 3rd straight NBA championship last night. Police described this year's reaction as peaceful compared to last year's. Meanwhile, the Bulls secured their place in NBA history last night, beating Phoenix and becoming only the 3rd team to, yes, three-peat. The Bulls are Michael Jordan's team, but John Paxson won this game, hitting the open three-pointer that Chicago's offense has been producing for years. On the other end, the Bulls protected their 1-point lead with the kind of defense Charles Barkley says separates the champions from the challengers in the NBA. Horace Grant making the block. So the Bulls flew back to Chicago as three-peaters, relieved by their accomplishment, cheered by thousands, but already being asked about their place in history.
You know, history always takes time to sink in. It never really happens initially. I think after a period of time, you start to think about what you accomplished in the history part of it.
And while Jordan celebrated, Charles Barkley seemed slighted. NBC implied he stiffed the network to take a post-game shower, but moments later he was the only son to show up in the league's interview room. And after that, he graciously appeared live for more than 5 minutes on Chicago television.
Be ignorant and steal. Well, Charles, I'd like to say thanks for coming on. And
you mean I don't get
great,
paid for this?
You're a great competitor.
I don't get paid for this?
We'll send you. We'll send you one of Cliff's ties. We'll send you a tie.
No. I thought I was getting paid for this.
Well, at times the king of crass. Last night, Charles Barkley was the king of class. 2 more NBA notes, these involving the Timberwolves. Kevin McHale will join the team as the TV analyst and part-time big man coach. How about full-time player? That's not going to happen. And Bob Weinhauer will join the Wolves coaching staff as an assistant to Sidney Lowe. Weinhauer was a former assistant with the Atlanta Hawks. Tom Lehman, fresh from an $18,000 payday at the U.S. Open yesterday, played a charity round of golf at Alexandria Country Club today with a few of his friends from the tour. There's Tom Lehman, and here's Paul Azinger, who finished in a tie for 3rd in the Open, also enjoying his day in the Minnesota sun. Lehman's good friend Lee Jansen, who was born in Austin, Minnesota, won the Open by 2 shots over Payne Stewart. Well, the Twins will try to stop their 6-game losing streak tonight at Fenway Park. The game starts in a couple of minutes right here on Channel 4. And the Twins certainly have the right man on the mound. Scott Erickson is 5-2 in his career against Boston with a 1.30 ERA. He's given up just 2 earned runs in 31 innings at Fenway. While the Twins were on the road, about 250 Major League wannabes were at the Metrodome today for baseball's version of a cattle call. Tryouts are for players in the 18 to 23-year-old age bracket, although some of the young at heart have been known to sneak in.
What position are you trying out for?
Catcher, because supposedly you don't have to run.
We're looking for people that can hit balls in the upper deck, pitchers that can throw 90 miles an hour. We're looking for an all-around type player that looks the part, has coordination, and that's not easy to acquire.
Well, the Twins have held open tryouts for 32 years, giving players a chance to say, I had a tryout with the Twins, while the team looks for that diamond in the rough.
We've had 3 players in the history of this tryout camp go all the way to the major leagues, so it's a possibility.
And one other note, Roger Clemens will not pitch against the Twins this series. He's on the disabled list for 15 days.
Good to have you back, by the way.
Thanks.
It's been a while, hasn't it? 2 weeks.
That's it, yeah.
This is a request from Oldsmobile to Honda. Please don't raise the price of your Accord DX anymore. Because every time you do, we have to change our Achieva commercials. So ixnay with the price increases. All this re-editing is getting expensive. It's your choice.
Futons. Sit down, stretch out, and save on futons at the Futon Shop. Futons. You gotta sit on them and sleep on them. Wanna save on them? Gotta save on the most attractive futons at the Futon Shop. Find one of the area's largest selections of quality and affordable futons, like our Lounger, just $198 complete full size. Sit on them, sleep on them, save on them. In all Water bedroom stores.
Everybody's twinning, the twins are really humming. Inning after inning, the hits just keep on coming.
Boston boasts one of the best pitching staffs in the bigs, but can they bury the Twins' big bats? See Minnesota try to hang the Red Sox out to dry Monday night at 6:30 on Channel 4, the Twinning Station.
You'll be twinning, twinning on Channel 4.
For years, one television station's commitment to keeping you informed has been unsurpassed. Through experience and new technology, we've gone beyond ordinary news gathering to bring you news and information you need. At Channel 4, we're putting more into our news by going in-depth and undercover in our community and across the country. And we want to thank you for making today's WCCO television news the #1 rated news in Minnesota. Keep watching, and you won't miss a thing.
More students than ever before were awarded Alan Page scholarships this afternoon. 183 Minnesota minority students will receive financial assistance and adult mentorship in the coming years because of the Page Education Foundation.
See you after the game.
Have a good night.
What is it about this new Mercury Cougar that attracts so much attention? Maybe it's the new leather-trimmed interior with more standard features, like power everything. But then again, the new low price is very attractive. In fact, this new Cougar costs less than it did 4 years ago. If you ask me, its most attractive feature has got to be looks. But you'll get used to people staring. Cougar XR7 at your Lincoln Mercury dealer now.
Protect and beautify your home with quality Thompson products from Menards. Wood Protector is on sale for just $9.74. Plus, choose from semi-transparent or solid water seal stains for just $8.94 a gallon after mail-in rebate. Save 15% on swing and slide, swing set kits and accessories. This sling seat is on sale for just $8.88. At Menards, we take pride in helping you do it yourself.
Save big money at Menards.
In about the time it takes you to read this, the new Jeep Grand Cherokee can go from 0 to 60. In about the time it takes you to read this, Grand Cherokee can go from 60 to 0. And in a fraction of the time it takes you to read this, the award-winning Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo could save your life. Maybe it's time for you to test drive one now at your Jeep and Eagle dealer.
See your local Jeep and Eagle dealer for the best in automotive sales, service, and value.
Got a few things to carry around? With a powerful V6 engine and plenty of payload, a new GMC Sierra could really help.
Morning, Fred. Morning, Frank. Tony.
What's the new buzzword around town? Sonoma, that's what. And with $750 cash back, it couldn't be a sweeter deal.
You're watching today's WCCO television.
Some of our regularly scheduled programs will not be seen tonight. Murphy Brown can be seen tonight at 9:30, Love and War Tuesday night at 9:30. Stay tuned now for the Twins at Boston baseball game.